at the Baltimore War Memorial on Friday, April 28th at 8 p.m.
So let's get started. So tell us a little bit about this opera, what it's about, who wrote it.
So the opera is called As One. It was written by Laura Kaminsky, and the librettists were Mark Campbell and Kimberly Reed. And so Claire approached me a couple months ago about if I'd be interested in doing a concert, and then kind of teased me with the idea of doing excerpts from this opera. And it covers the story of a transgender woman and her struggles and navigating the world and really finding her identity. And that was something that I'm very passionate about, because it was such a difficult experience for me in my own journey of finding my identity and expressing that in the world that we have now and how difficult that is. So it's something that I was really excited to be involved with. So it was kind of an exciting sort of starting point.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it just by looking on audition notices, and people were talking about this new opera, and when I researched it, I thought it was such an interesting concept, because first of all, just using two different voices as the voice of one person is always really fascinating to me, because I think we all have so many voices in our minds, and then when the question of gender identity comes into it, I think there's a lot more there's a lot more happening, there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of discourse, and there's a lot of disconnect and figuring out where the connections are. So it was something that fascinated me, and then when I was speaking with our artist Molly Cummins, who designed the poster for us and will be displaying all of her poster work, she's worked a lot with a couple of local charities in Baltimore, and a couple of organizations have asked her to do artwork for them, including the Baltimore Transgender Alliance, and it's something that's very close to her heart. So as we were sort of brainstorming how do we make this kind of gallery display / concert work really well together, and how do we address things that are really poignant and valid right now, her mentioning the Transgender Alliance being that close to her heart and something that's very interesting and close to my heart as well, I thought immediately of this opera and just thought, oh, that would be such a great way to delve into this work and to start a conversation with people.
And it's in a discussion that's really starting to come to the forefront. And I think it's such a relatable issue, and for everyone. I mean, we all deal, just even down to the idea of having two people being one person.
Yeah.
I think we can all understand that on a certain level. We have this presence or this personality or this facade that we impersonate every day. And how we present ourselves in the world, and whether or not that is true to who you really feel you are on the inside. I know a lot of people don't feel that way because we live in the general constraints of our culture and what society dictates and what the government is doing, or how that relates to us on an everyday level. And I think that's something that's so relatable, and I'm glad that it's something that is really starting to be talked about. And I think it's why we're so passionate about our program, and I think that's why we're just really excited to do it.
I always have felt that classical music, so we just had this Dean Symposium with Peter Sellers, who came to Peabody, and he was talking about music as a democracy and as a community, and as something to really delve into issues that aren't necessarily being confronted, and to take time and to train yourselves to really listen. So again, it's coming back to this theme of, I feel like we need to slow down and listen to one another. And I don't think that there's a medium that's better for that than classical music, because it slows down the emotions and allows you to process them through the smallest value notes. So you actually have to just take the time and let yourself process. So I think that this piece in particular, there's a lot of sort of atmospheric chords or tremolo that's happening in the string quartet. So you just have this space that allows you to think and work through what's going on.
It's this sort of all-encompassing experience. And I think As One is something that is really relevant, and it is this music that it forces you to kind of sit with it. You kind of have to sit there and experience what's happening in that moment and watch Hannah, who is the protagonist, go through what she's dealing with. And it's something that is really powerful and really makes you be introspective and sit there and have to like examine yourself, and it's really exciting, and I think that's such a beautiful thing that classical music allows to happen.
Yeah. I think also it allows you to put yourself in someone else's shoes, because I think oftentimes we see things from our own perspectives. And for example, there's a movement called Out of Nowhere in As One that is a near attack on Hannah. And she's experiencing it, and you're experiencing it with her. I mean, the music is terrifying, and she's just freaking out, telling you what's happening. This guy is pounding on her window and screaming these horrible things at her, like, what are you? I'm gonna kill you, that kind of thing. And in the background, Hannah, before, is listing all of these transgender victims and how they were attacked, brutalized, killed. So not only are you seeing and experiencing Hannah's experience and perspective, but you're also hearing that this isn't just her, this is so many other people, and it's just unacceptable how many people have been brutalized for being who they are. So I think it's a really amazing lens into that, and an amazing way to step out of yourself for a little bit. Well, I also wanted to say the reason that we chose As Caged Birds is partially from the bird theme from the Weir cycle, but I feel like all of us feel sort of trapped within our own bodies and our own minds a lot of the time, and a lot of the pressures from society, so that's where that title came from. But anyway.
Yeah, it just kind of seemed to really fit, and was an image that I know came very vividly into my mind.
Yeah.
With this whole program, and it just kind of, when things just happen and they really work.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, we all understand what it's like to be trapped, and I mean, as a transgender person, you feel trapped in your own body, and everyone can relate to that in a sense.
Yeah. And I really love that Molly was able to make that a visual design for us, and the poster will be on sale at the event. And the majority of the proceeds from that will go towards an LGBTQ organization in Baltimore, which is very cool. So
I think so much of this concert is that we're trying to embody the idea that we are human, that everyone, however different or unique or what their struggles are human, and that they deserve respect and dignity and to be recognized for who they feel that they are, no matter what creed or identity or belief that is. It's exciting, and it's humbling in a way, because we get to do this thing that is very relatable and intimate.
yes.
And speak to all those people at one time.
Yeah. So we really hope that you'll join us on Friday, April 28th at 8 p.m. And thank you so much to Elle for moderating our discussion.
No problem.
And thank you so much for listening.